Hey, what is up, mortals? It is GrogFunky here with a new video for you. Welcome to part 9 of What If Deku Was a Dragon Slayer. I just wanted to greet you guys by saying, sit back and relax. You're in for a treat. And so, we begin. Wendy Marvel stood at the mic, her body shaking like a leaf. The girl tried desperately to calm herself, but that only made her more nervous. Then she looked out at the crowd of UA first-year students. Over to the right, she caught sight of Izuku Midoriya. The boy locked eyes with the blue-haired girl. The determined and fierce look in the green boy's eyes made all of the nervous energy in Wendy's body melt away. A surge of confidence flooded the tiny girl's body. She took a deep breath and delivered her speech.
I just wanted to say that a lot has happened to us this year. Hero training has been way harder than we expected, but this has just made all of us more determined to become the greatest heroes we can be.
The determined girl then looked back at the UA students and looked each of them in the eyes.
Everyone, let's show the people here and the ones watching at home what UA students are made of. Let's go all out! Plus Ultra!
The students from the other courses exchanged looks with each other for several minutes. All of their faces then broke out in smiles and began cheering. Many of them commented that Wendy did not look impressive, but she was actually really fiery. Her classmates were not surprised by the blue-haired girl's speech. They knew that underneath Wendy's friendly demeanor was the heart of a real fighter.
All right, a moving pledge from Wendy Marvel of Class 1A. Now, let's get this party started. Let's see the first event.
Midnight snapped the whip she held in her right hand. When the whip cracked, the big screen flashed with words and images, and finally landed on the words obstacle course. President Mike then explained.
All right, dudes and dudettes, this event is a race where you will face several surprises, so let's get to it.
All of the students gathered around the exit to the field. As the horn sounded for the race to begin, the teens all rushed the doorway and many became stuck. That is when Todoroki made his move. The elemental teen unleashed a burst of ice. This froze many of his competitors in place. Todoroki then took off running towards the next obstacle. Unfortunately, Todoroki's freezing attack did not work as well as he thought. Most of his classmates saw the attack coming. So while the bicolored team did get a head start on his competitors, most of the hero course students managed to dodge the ice wave. Midoriya saw the ice wave coming and channeled his firepower into his feet and shot into the air. The Dragon Slayer then flew out of the tunnel and landed outside the stadium. Wendy landed next to Midoriya. The Granette looked back and saw that all of Class 1A had used their powers to dodge the Frosty Teen's assault. Midoriya gave Wendy a knowing nod. Without a word, the pigtailed girl returned the nod with a determined look on her face. Both Dragon Slayers took off in pursuit of their icy classmate. Todoroki dashed forward, but was stopped by a large group of robots. So, these are fake villains that we had to face during the entrance exam? I can see why these things would have caused them so much trouble, but I wish they had given me something more challenging. After all, my father is watching. Todoroki quickly glazed behind him. He saw that many of the hero course students had avoided his ice attack. This fact disappointed the serious teen. The bicolored teen released another large wave of ice that coated the robots in a layer of white and froze them in place. Todoroki used his momentary pause to dash ahead once again. Midoriya and Wendy were members of a small group of students that approached the frozen robots. The group thought they could use this to bypass the obstacle, but it was not to be. Todoroki had frozen the robots where they were off their balance. The fact is, this caused the robots, especially the big zero-pointers, to lose their balance and tumble to the ground. Midoriya noticed this at the last minute.
Wendy, everyone look out!
Fortunately, the blue-haired girl was standing next to Midoriya. The green teen pushed the small girl out of the way at the last minute. The collapsing robot giants buried Midoriya under a mountain of rubble. Uraraka and a few other Class 1A students saw the disaster.
Oh my gosh, was that Deku I saw?
Wendy responded with a panicky voice.
Yeah, he pushed me out of the way at the last minute. I hope he's okay.
Suddenly, a large area of metallic rubble began to glow. Then a huge stream of fire erupted out of the rubbish heap and shot into the sky. The scene made the students and the onlookers gasp in surprise. The fire stream left a giant hole in the metal mound. Midoriya jumped out of the hole. The green teen's eyes were ablaze of fury. His whole aura radiated anger. Midoriya then yelled at the top of his lungs in a furious voice.
That bicolored jerk! That could have killed me! What kind of person buries a guy in frozen metal?
As the Dragon Slayer spoke, steam started coming out of his ears.
He's going to pay for this! Get back here, Todoroki!
Magic circles appeared under the teen's feet, and he took off into the air on 2 streams of fire. In a surprised tone, Uraraka replied,
Okay, I guess he's okay.
Wendy answered her friend in an exasperated tone.
So it would seem.
Both Wendy and Uraraka waded into the robot field.
I've never seen Deku like that. He's usually so laid back and calm. I wonder what made him go off like that. I fear that it is a personality trait he picked up from his master Natsu.
With that explanation, the girl and the there fought off the robot and continued the race. Honey is a free browser add-on available on Google, Opera, Firefox, and Safari. If it's a browser, it has Honey. Honey automatically saves you money when you check out on sites like Amazon, Papa John's, or Kohl's. Wherever you shop, it's a good chance that Honey can save you money. All you have to do when you're checking out at these major sites is click that little orange button, and it will scan the entire internet and find a discount code for you. It takes 2 clicks to install Honey. Now, anytime you check out, Honey will scan the entire internet and find a coupon code just for you. If there's a coupon code, they'll find it. And if there's not a coupon code, you can rest assured that you're getting the best price possible, and there is literally not one available on the internet. If you install Honey right now, you can save like $50 to $100 on your shopping, doing nothing. There's literally no reason not to install Honey. It takes 2 clicks, 10 million people use it, 100,000 5-star reviews, and unless you hate money, you should install Honey. Up in the stands, Lucy and Natsu sat watching the spectacle. They had been given their seats by Nezu, so the two could watch their students in action. Lucy looked at her husband with a displeased look.
You've been a terrible influence on that boy, Natsu.
Natsu started to sweat under his wife's menacing gaze.
Well, you can't blame the kid for getting upset, Lucy. I mean, that icy guy did drop all that stuff on him. Who wouldn't get upset at that?
True, but he did not have to act like that. As the couple argued, Urza came to sit by them. Well, it is nice to see you two getting along. Both Natsu and Lucy got shocked looks on their faces. Lucy spoke to her friend with a surprised tone.
Urza, I did not know you were going to be here.
The redhead was still covered in bandages, but she maintained her stoic expression. Why would I not be here? It is important to observe my students' performance, so I know where to focus their training going forward.
I gotta say, the idea of you as a teacher is terrifying.
Urza delivered a powerful punch to Natsu's face for making that comment. Did you say something, Natsu? In a panicked voice, Natsu replied,
No, nothing, ma'am. I'm not surprised that Midoriya and Wendy are doing so well, but that Todoroki is unexpected.
Why does that name sound familiar? Natsu thought for a minute.
Oh, is he any relation to the number 2 hero Endeavor?
He is the youngest son of the man, but I get the feeling their relationship is not great.
I could believe that. I've only had a few interactions with Endeavor, but I didn't like him at all. Plus his fire tasted terrible. Yuck!
Be that as it may, I am curious to see how this event plays out. Back on the field, the students all approached the third obstacle, the fall. The collection of deep trenches would have completely blocked most progress if not for the wires splayed across the wide openings. Todoroki glided across the wires using his ice. Close behind the dual-colored teen was Midoriya and Bakugo. The fire user and the explosive teen used their power to fly over the canyons. Wendy and Kaminari were also in close pursuit of the Forerunners.
Look at this! All of our leaders are from Class 1A! Is it any wonder why they stopped the villain attack? They're crazy strong! But let's see if they can hold on to their lead as they approach our 4th hurdle, the minefield. But don't worry, folks, these mines aren't strong enough to cause injury. Just enough to make you wet your pants.
Todoroki approached the minefield and realized that this stage was meant to hit the leaders the hardest. He gently walked across the field. The intelligent boy knew that if he rushed, he ran the risk of setting off multiple mines. As Todoroki picked his way through the field, Midoriya came flying onto the scene like a bat out of hell. Following close behind was Bakugo, using his explosion to propel him through the area. The two boys closed in on the dual-element classmate. Midoriya still had a furious look on his face. The green teen screamed at the top of his lungs.
You got some nerve, Todoroki! How dare you try to bury me in robot parts!
Midoriya formed a fireball in his hand and prepared to launch it at Todoroki. Before he could, Bakugo grabbed Midoriya by the fist. Bakugo yelled at Midoriya in his usual harsh tone. If anyone's going to pound that icy hot bastard, it's going to be me, Deku!
Let go of me, Kachan! This doesn't involve you!
Midoriya then began to fight with Bakugo in midair. The two exchanged several blows. The two got so into their fight They didn't realize how close they were to getting to Todoroki. Before the two enraged teens realized, they crashed full speed into Todoroki. All three went tumbling end over end. The three rolled forward in a heap, setting off all the mines they impacted. The three combative teens landed on the opposite side of the minefield. Bakugo was the first to express his displeasure at the event. "Get off of me, you two. You're getting in my way." As the three teens tried to dislodge each other with little success, Wendy and Kaminari zipped past the three. Kaminari spoke to the three as he passed. "You three better hurry up, or you'll get left behind." The zappy teen then ran on. This snappy comment gave the tangled teens the push to stop fighting and get loose. The 5 1A students entered the final stretch. Midoriya, Bakugo, and Todoroki caught up to Kaminari and Wendy, using all of their power. The 5 students pulled out all the stops as they neared the finish line. The final result was very close, but Kaminari got first place, Midoriya got second, Wendy got third, Todoroki came in fourth, and finally, Bakugo got 5th place, and started to have a hissy fit because of it. Wendy, Midoriya, and Todoroki were upset at not coming in first, but they conducted themselves with more sportsmanship than their bombastic classmate. President Mike then delivered the result in a groovy voice as the rest of the students entered the stadium. The DJ hero then made an announcement.
"That was a great first heat, folks, but now we'll be moving on to the second round after a short recess."
With that proclamation, all the students caught their breath and prepared mentally for what was to come. After the break, Midnight called everyone's attention. "It is time to select the next event." Midnight snapped her whip and the big screen changed behind her again. It began to flash with several title cards. The screen landed on the title of Cavalry Battle. Midnight then explained the event. "You will all form teams of 3 to 4 individuals. Each team will be given a point value based on the total value of the individual members. These values will be decided by how you finished in the obstacle course. The last place finisher will get 5 points, and the values will increase by 5 points as your place ascends. But the first place will be a little different. The first place point value will be worth 10 million points." As the R-rated hero said those 2 words, Kaminari got a panicked look on his face. Up in the stands, Natsu got a confused look on his face. The pink-haired man pointed at Kaminari and explained.
"That kid's power seems familiar to me. Where have I seen that before?"
Both Urza and Lucy released a breath in exasperation at their thick-head friend. Lucy broke the news to her husband. "He has the same power as Loxus. Seriously? He kicked your butt enough. How could you forget that?"
"Whoa, you're right. Do you think he's a Dragon Slayer also?"
Lucy replied with a voice full of aggravation. "It is a good thing you're so cute, Natsu. Otherwise, I'd have to not put up with you so long."
"Oh, I'm cute, am I?"
Natsu glanced at his wife with a cocky look in his eyes. Urza broke into the couple's heated exchange. "Could you two please control yourselves in public? As for Natsu's previous question, I think he might be. But I have not seen him use that power yet." Suddenly, a familiar voice came from behind the 3 wizards. "Maybe he's not yet had a reason to do so yet. After all, he beat Natsu's kid with ease." The 3 friends turned toward the voice. Standing there was Loxus Dreyer. "Long time no see. So, what do you think of my students?" The tall blonde man walked down the steps and sat behind Natsu.
"Loxus, what are you doing here?"
"Last I checked, Natsu, anyone who wanted to attend was allowed. Besides, I need to come and support my student." Urza nodded at the scar-faced man in approval. "It is nice to see you continuing to support Kaminari, even after he left your tutelage. That is a nice change to see in you, Loxus." "Well, it has been a long time. We have all changed in many ways, except for Natsu. I see he is still the same." Both Lucy and Urza nodded in silent agreement. Urza then broke in and said, "Anyway, Kaminari has been doing well in the competition, and in his hero studies." "Good to hear. I'm looking forward to seeing how he does." With that statement, the 4 powerful wizards returned their eyes to the field to see how poor Kaminari handled the next event. Meanwhile, All For One and Zeref were sitting in a dark warehouse. The only light in the place was from All For One's giant computer monitor. "Well, it looks like those young heroes are having fun. Wouldn't you agree, Zeref?" "Indeed. I commend them for foiling your plans, but they do need to be punished." "What have you done, Zeref?" "Let's just say that I decided to make my own cracks in the Hero Society." All For One responded with a casual tone to his fellow Dark Lord. "Sounds interesting. I look forward to seeing the results. This should be fun." Thank you all for sticking around, and I hope that you enjoyed. Before you leave, we would just like to let you know that we, the Celestials, have many other channels for your entertainment and viewing purposes. All the information you need is right below here in the description. So feel free to check out all the other incredible projects our team creates. Secondly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank everyone involved in the production of today's awesome content. Their details will be in the description below.